Hey guys, Naz here with another video. In this video, I'll be going over my smash or pass build for Swordfighter. This is a late and endgame build for anyone who didn't fully read the title, so you have been warned for spoilers. Okay, with that out the way, let's get into this, yeah? Before I go over the arts, I believe it's best we discuss the base skills, as this will give us a better understanding of how I got to this build. Sharp Eye boosts our accuracy by 50%. This is really good, and it allows us to not use any accessories or gems focused on accuracy so we can output more damage. Covert Attack reduces our aggro by 65%. This is always welcome. Cypher Edge boosts our critical hit chance by 50%. And lastly, in Spirit, this is a flat 150% damage increase whenever fighting a boss or a unique monster. And that's usually what endgame is, so this will always be active. Unlike other jobs who have to work for their damage boost, we just get ours right from the start. As you can see, our base kit provides decent utility and damage and will further capitalize on the damage with our master skills. You'll want the blades these passive come from to be level 20 to get the full value out of them. Ultimate Qigong from Thaumaturge is a pierce that passes 50 physical defensive points. This is the strongest passive any physical attacker can have, because if the foe has low defense, we can make them go into the negatives, which is unheard of. Universal Annihilation from Seraph. Since we'll be doing the smash combo, we may as well do 150% more damage during the topple and launch part of the combo. Critical Strike from Flash Fencer. As we have a decent critical hit rate, and doing 50% more damage on a separate multiplier is always welcome. Now that our passives are set, let's go over our arts. Air Slash is the highest damaging move we can have access to. The Y button here is not really used, so you can ignore this, but I did put Ground Beat in here. And lastly, Shadow Eye for that attack up. The aggro reduction is the cherry on top. Sword Strike doesn't make the cut because we have another ally for the break, and Edge Thrust isn't needed because we'll kill the enemy before we even get to their rear. Our master arts will be Mighty B. This is the only smash art outside of Talon arts, and Swordfighter is the best Kevis faction to make use of this. Like I said, the Y button's not used here, but if you want, you could put Ring of Roses. And lastly, Maximum Voltage, because we want to hit as hard as possible, and this lets us do unblockable damage and gives us a 20% damage increase, which stacks with the attack buff from Shadow Eye. Next, we'll go over our gems. We'll want Steel Cleaver, as more attack stat is always welcome. Analyze Weakness, so when we critically hit, we do 70% more damage. And lastly, Empowered Combo, because we'll be doing an art cancel, so an additional multiplier is nice to have. Now that our gems are set, let's go over our accessories. Our first accessory will be Saturni Rings, as they have the highest attack boost we can get. Fiber Wraps to further stack on our Universal Annihilation. And lastly, Warped White Brooch to stack on Ultimate Qigong. Now that No is set, let's go over our teammates. I suggest copying this setup as it is for an easy to follow guide, but if you want to change things up, you'll need 2 members to be able to topple and launch the enemy. I personally went with 2 Seraphs as they have the highest attack, so they'll make a good support DPS. You may think the arts missing are a mistake, but I purposely removed them because their only role in this build is to topple and launch the enemy. So them having 2 useless arts makes this strategy less consistent. Next, we'll have 1 support for Glittering Melody. I went with Signifer as it's the best support in the game. One Soul Hacker with Dragon Decree and Desperate Charge. Battle Pheromone is nice but not needed. You'll want it to be set on the Dodge Soul and have these passives. Their main role is to buff the party quickly. And lastly, Senna is the Orc because no one else will have the stats as high as hers. She's mainly here to break the enemy and Glittering Melody. Use whichever hero you want. I personally went with Kamaravi because he has the highest raw stats to help ensure a quick kill. If you copy this setup, then everything will be comfy, as all you have to do is fusion art and press X. So I highly recommend that, as that's what I'll be referring to next. One last thing, go to Systems, Options, Camera, and go to the Battle Camera and turn it off. This will allow us to do the next part without any animation locks on Talon arts. Okay, now that we're fully prepared, let me do a demonstration on what you'll want to do. You'll want to start off with Senna and dodge to the enemy's flank, Fusion Art X and then Glittering Melody. Swap to Lands and do the Fusion Art X, then go to Noah. Fusion Art B if the enemy isn't launched. If the enemy is launched, then just wait for an auto to connect, then Fusion Art Cancel X. If done properly, you should have killed or severely hurt the enemy. If it's still alive, swap to Tyon and use Glittering Melody, then go back to Senna and repeat. This time, they'll die for sure. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. And don't forget, if this video brought value to you, please leave a like and consider subscribing to see more as I play a wide array of RPG games and I break them down just like this. Until the next video, I'll see ya.